What are you doing today? We're back, and I think we've generally got quite a good thing going for us here. It's been a few days, it's been a few streams that we've kind of hung around Bad Teeth. We had Load do a little bit of a journey to a farm the other day, and we kind of scouted out how much a bull would cost. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us quite a bit. So we're going to have to kind of ramp up our production here. Just a little bit in order to let's pause so he doesn't throw it right back in as soon as I take it. There you go. Let's run to the bar while we're talking. So we're going to have to kind of ramp up production just a tad, just so that we can afford to get a bull. Because once we get a bull, we can pretty much go anywhere we want, because the bull is going to be able to carry enough, especially when it's already kind of well off. You save most money if you're going to play a long game. And this is what I'd recommend if you're not necessarily doing it for stream and you're just doing it for your personal self, just for your own enjoyment. My recommendation would be to get the youngest animals you can. That way they kind of grow up with you, and it's going to cost you less, and things like that. And they eventually will reach a much more useful state. It doesn't matter of time. It's literally just a matter of time, especially in the early game where you end up not doing a whole lot. Don't worry about the age of the animal unless you're already way into the game. And then you might need to worry a little bit. Because you might not, depending on who or where you are, you might not have much left into the game to do. It's a big game, so even if you finish most everything, there's probably still stuff to do. But just keep that in mind whenever you're doing that stuff. Now, we actually still have some injuries. I don't think we rested all our injuries away. And they're getting into the malnourished range again. I'm kind of curious why they're doing that. They're not running back to get food when they're hungry. Let's have them run back. Let's have everyone do kind of a quick eating session. Maybe they'll only do it when they're like absolutely starving. Now, if you've noticed, if you missed the previous streams, you may have noticed that we've got a lot more people armored up. We got Hiroto finally with some chest armor. New with chest armor, which actually she's had for a while now. I think Griffin and Load were the first two people we armored up. So depending on how many streams you missed, you may have missed us get all this chest armor, which is good because that's pretty much the most important. Like the way kind of armoring works is your pants and your body armor, your chest armor is going to be the most important part next to your shirt and your shoes. Your helmet is useful and very important if you don't want to get hit in the head, but it's not the. I guess okay, maybe aim for like a helmet and body armor. If you're a hive, helmet's not going to matter though, because I don't think most hives can wear helmets. I think only the worker can. The hive worker, I think, is the only one that can actually wear a helmet. Which, fun fact, that's a big priority back in like the medieval days. If you ever wonder why you always see people wearing helmets in old depictions, but then they might be just wearing cloth clothes or stuff like that, was because the helmet was probably the first thing you'd get beyond just thick clothing, because generally it's the least cost upgrade to your gear you can do, depending on what time in history you're talking about. And it's also something that you can do fairly easily compared to an entire set of body armor. Now, we weren't going to get this next set of armor, so we're probably done getting armor for right now, at least that kind of armor. We might get chain mail. I don't want to get, if I don't have to, I don't really want to get shoddy gear, because I think that's going to, I think we already have shoddy chain mail, so we might go for it, depending on how well. He's got standard. They all have standard, and I'm leaving it as is. And he's already got shoddy, rusty chainmail, so it is better. It's better than what he's got. Okay, let's get this, and then from now on, hold on. Okay, throw this in here. And we're going to have to give that to Hiroto here. Or is it Hiroto? It was Griffin. We'll give that to Griffin. And that'll probably be the last bit of armor. Oh, we should sell the old one. Oh no, he's still got the old one on him, so let's go get that armor from him. I want to change that armor around. It's only a tad bit better. But it'll also look a little nicer. It won't look like... It kind of is easy to get mixed up with a normal shirt when it looks the way it does. If you look at it, if you're not really paying attention, it looks kind of just like a normal shirt. I mean, I guess chainmail does to a way, but I think the silver color kind of gives away metal. The steely kind of color to it. Even from this distance, it kind of looks like a shirt, maybe. Either way, let's go ahead and run him back. That's all of the armor we want to get. Everyone else is going to be lightly armored. Bard, Swift, and Zim are going to all be lightly armored. And we're going to try to get dex weapons for them. Yeah, let's throw this on here. Because that way, if you can see here, you can see the dexterity effect on there. Here, let's pause real quick. See that dexterity effect? That's going to basically lower your damage by 30. Basically, right there, that's a 30% decrease in damage. Because you only have 70% of your dexterity counted, and so on. So this really is not going to be the best thing to help you do damage with. Now, there's skill effects, which it can help you train, and then there's dexterity and things like that. Dexterity effects, which can help you train against dexterity, but it will also impact... Actually, I think dexterity is one of those things where by having any negative, I don't think you really level up faster. Either way, it's going to really impact your damage, which can be a pretty bad thing. So we don't want to do that. We might buy some trader's leathers, though, because they're not very expensive. It's not very expensive. Oh, you know what? We didn't... Hold on. Let's get him to run here. He'll automatically run back. Now, you could do something like this and still use something with sharp. The only thing is that I really don't want to rely on leather under armor in this case. Don't get me wrong, the turtleneck's great. The leather turtleneck is pretty good. I mean, that's a bad example because that's only a prototype one, but it can get pretty good. That's a standard shirt, and you can kind of see where it's pretty close to its standard Rusty chainmail shirt. And 6.16 versus 8.14, that's practically little to no difference without any of the negatives, as you can see, to combat speed and dexterity effect. So it's not bad in the slightest, but I'm trying to go with heavy armor, I think, here, and max protection. If someone goes down, I want to make sure that it's not down for the count. And by that I mean dead. Alright, let's sell that. Oh, is he going to go talk to him? Ah, yep. Never mind. Okay, there we go. And we're going to be mostly using strength weapons, so it shouldn't matter either way. Now, that difference will get bigger the better the gear is. Is chainmail worth it? That's up to you, but if I'm mostly using the heavy armor people to draw fire from the lightly armored people, to me, it's worth it. Because that's their job, right? I mean, that's their job in this scenario, is to draw fire, to get hit, and to kind of draw getting hit toward themselves. Sabers would probably be a better investment, theoretically, for that role. But just for kind of role-playing purposes, we're going to try to keep as many people using hackers as possible. Also, that'll boost our damage toward machines. And most hackers do balance damage anyway, so we should do, as you can see, or plus, it's close cutting and blunt damage is close together. But the big thing we're paying attention to is that plus 25% towards robots and armor penetration. That's the big one. Okay, I think we're in a scenario in which we're not going to be getting any new money fast. So I think we need to journey around while everyone else is working. And maybe attack some more river raptors with load here. He didn't bring someone with him. Oh, that's an old paladin. I'm going to get confused a little bit between everybody, though. The only weird thing I always find funny is that the Holy Nation has no arm protection. Because they wear vests, not even shirts. They wear vests, which give like no arm protection. Yet they are the team that's all against prosthetics. That's the only thing I always found strange, is that there's not more self-preservation of the arms. Considering that their belief structure really would invite totally heavily arming like your entire body. And don't get me wrong, the higher ranks have plate rather than leather vests. But like they don't have any leg armor. Oh, they don't beyond the shoes, beyond the plated boots, they don't have leg armor. So unless they're smart in a way that I don't realize, like as you can see here. So this is a paladin, and he's actually got a normal shirt. Oh, that's not even armor. That's just a normal shirt. Yeah, I don't know why that they have so little protection in some regards. Samurai guards have a lot more consistent protection throughout. I'm not really sure why, but kind of a cold today. Let's run up the river. Let's see what's up here. Oh, he's gonna run headlong into that rock. No, there's a passway up there. Let's go hunting for some river raptors. I want to make sure there's at least some fighting in every episode. Because we can make money without them having to do anything. Now, technically, Griffin would be the best one to do this because he's got the most skill, but we want Load to actually be pretty decent. He's going to kind of have a handicap when it comes to helping people if they get knocked out because he doesn't have the arm that's required to lift people in the game. Because your left arm pretty much is required to lift people, and since he's missing it, he can't help out in that way. So we want him to be a fighter because that's going to be the main way he can be helpful. Let's see. Try to find some river raptors. I don't want to get too close to the farms because I think that I can almost antagonize them to the farms, and I really don't want to get into another fight like we did last time. Ah, there we go. Oh no, those aren't raptors. Those are just paladins. High paladin with... Oh, okay, the high paladin might have... Yeah, okay, so he has short chainmail. But I've seen ones with long sleeve chainmail before. To me, coverage is kind of really important. Now, don't get me wrong, their armor is really, really good. When it comes to, like, to protection, it's one of the best protective gears in the game. Not so much in coverage, but just in the actual... body part, kind of like whereas like in the chest, your chest and your stomach is probably best protected by that kind of style. Now you can't craft, I don't think you can actually craft their style. I think there's only like an unholy chest plate or something like that you can make. I don't think you can actually craft the holy chest plate. Let's see if there's anything over here. I know I didn't really want to get involved with the farm, but I just realized that I have some chest injuries I really need to solve. I'm gonna have a little bit of a drink real quick. Maybe it might make it a little easier to. There you go. Don't know if that'll help my nose. Either way, let's continue. So that will speed up a little bit of time. He should have brought some food with him. Yeah, he's got some food with him, so he won't starve. These guys, however, may end up starving out of their own lack of desire to go and get food. I don't think I don't. Maybe if they're just out of the radius that they automatically pick it up. Normally they go and get food automatically, or maybe they just do real hungry before they really run for it. Either way, let's get his health back up. There's also all the bulls around here too, but this isn't the one that I think we can buy anything from. At least I don't think it is. No, this is the one with the barracks. Good thing is, since this one doesn't have anyone that we can actually buy stuff from, if this one gets messed up, it's not the end of the world. Let's see. We know a nest is kind of up here, I think. Yeah, I think there's a nest up there. Okay, we're still a little hurt, but that's fine. Hopefully we don't die by just that little of a difference. Now, if you're wondering why I keep my backpack on, it's predominantly for leveling purposes. So the more you level up, the higher your level at the time, the harder it's going to be to level up. So believe it or not, leveling up in heavy armor isn't actually that hard, considering that you're going to be making more skills. You're going to be challenging more skills. What's going on over here? Oh, I thought there was just some dead bodies. Oh, there's some copper here. Now, I noticed you guys also mentioned the prospect button, which can be pretty cool. Which could be cool for once we get a base set up, but right now we're not worried about the base right now. We're really mostly about getting transitioned into the nomadic life. Let's see. Oh, is that one? Did it actually get destroyed? No, it's roam. It has like 25 roaming. You can kind of learn about. If you hover over a river nest or something like any kind of nest, you can actually learn more about it. Like I think you can do it with farms. Yeah. So you know that might be something that you guys might not have seen before. I don't know how many of you may have seen that or not, but you can actually look up information. So we know there's definitely raptors roaming around. Let's see. Can't spot any. Not having any luck with it. And again, if you're hunting in this game, I'd recommend a crossbow and a polearm. But in this case, we won't use crossbows unless we learn how to craft them without ancient books. And I believe you do need an ancient book to craft it. In fact, we should probably go and get any book. Let's see here. Let me check something real quick. Hold on. There you go. Looks like everything's going all right on the stream there. Let's. Ancient science. Yeah, I just looked it up just to double check. It is ancient science books that are banned. At least from my research. Oh, we can get some swimming exercise, I guess. Hold on, let's fast forward a little bit. Because otherwise this is going to take a while. Sorry for the pause. I was just making sure I wasn't... Okay, something's coming after us if it paused. That or some of these guys are getting attacked. No, it seems like they're okay. Maybe I just accidentally pressed pause by accident. Let's see. Or just it was loading everything in. Normally, if you go along this river, you can find stuff. Just finding paladins. Oh, there we go. We found them, everybody. And we found another mine, apparently. I feel like these groups are way bigger than before. We want to go after the smaller group, honestly. We weren't going to go after this big herd because we don't really have the time to go after and try to kind of deal with all that. Now we can actually break with this. Yeah, let's go after this group of 3. I want to swim. So at least get our swimming up. Let's go after these guys. Now the good thing is they're not hostile by default. Now the thing is that by keeping our skills low with the backpack, we will level up our combat skills faster. So once we take it off, we'll be much better. Let's see. Now remember, this method has some risk to it if we don't swing fast enough. And we won't get any defense skills from doing this. But I think I want to even the odds before I fight one in a straight up fight. Now, you can't do this with big things. Big things will kind of mess you up if you try this, because they're oftentimes faster than you. See, I think we're doing pretty well. Well, I think we're doing all right. Well, I was like, hello, how's it going? I ran up straight to you. There we go. I think we're doing all right. Keep away. I want to kind of injure them in the middle of this group because that has the highest chance of me hitting all 3 of them, like you saw earlier. Oh, we got 2 with 1 blow. There you go. Okay, now that the odds are a little bit even, I'm going to fight him in a kind of a straight up fight. Oh, I do not appreciate the leg hits. How is he doing on health? He's critical. I might do 1 more hit and I might actually set myself to block. There we go. Block. Oh, hit another leg hit. Too many leg hits and I think that we'll have load here run away. As you can see, that will be affecting our melee defense. Now, apparently getting hurt will actually help our melee defense skill. Hold on. Okay, we're getting real hurt in the leg. We can't afford to lose a leg out this far out. So let's do the finishing blow on him. There we go. Get all this taken so they can't wake back up. Now, if you wanted to level up medicine, you could just medicine them before taking that leather out, and you would actually practice medicine. But you trust me, you get more than enough opportunities on doing it on yourself. So oftentimes I think it's kind of a waste of medicine to do it that way. And however, we are again safe because we have towns nearby, so we can just run to the towns. This is why I highly recommend kind of being around little villages whenever you are fighting, because then you can either pay for it by like 100 in a okay, now you can buy a travel bed, basically like a camping bed, and that'll get rid of all your camping needs. But we haven't been around the travel store that had one in it yet. Tech Hunters and Squin seems to always tend to have one. Now that's going to be the difficult thing I think about this run, is most people that we don't like or we're not going to like in this gameplay as Okranites are the ones that kind of have gear that would be very beneficial to us. There you go. So we're going to have to be careful. Actually, while he's resting, let's make sure everyone here eats up. Oh, it looks maybe they are eating. Do a quick check on them. Do a check on their inventories too, making sure nobody's trying to just carry everything on their own. Yeah, it seems like everyone picked up some other stuff. Excuse me. Now, once we see what the Flotsam Ninja-esque characters use for weapons, we'll probably determine what we're gonna give Bard, Swift, and Zim. But at the moment, I don't know if they don't. I don't think they actually use hackers. I haven't really seen. They may even use sabers. If they use sabers, then that would be hilarious because you could have heavy armored guys who rely on getting hit, or not blocking, but just going totally aggressive, and rely off of just, you know, absorbing the blow, and then a bunch of light armor people who could probably even taunt. They're relying on just sheerly blocking. With no detriment. However, I don't believe armor actually lowers your defense skills, no. But your combat speed will affect how fast you can block. So be careful with that. The more heavy armor you wear, the more you're going to be in a situation of where you might not be able to block a ton of people all at once. So I'd never rely on only one heavy armor taunter, unless there's some serious skill. Unless they've got some serious skill where they can block real fast. It's very possible that maybe that's why they don't give all the Sentinels heavy armor, because they would just be too weighed down. Because their skills aren't good enough, or the strength isn't good enough. Or in order to be good enough, they would have to, they would level up. Because basically everybody levels up. So if you see the same guard fighting people, he's going to get really good at fighting people by eventually. By the time that you finally may attack them or work with them. Okay, I think he's okay now. Let's go and continue our reign of terror on the population of the river raptors. In fact, how are our combat skills doing? Our athletic skills are doing amazing. 55 athletics is pretty good. Obviously 100 would be better, but 12 hackers, which is good. 17 attack, 13 melee defense. Okay, we're doing all right. We're actually doing pretty well. Now our effective skill is much lower. Missing arm penalty is giving us penalty to strength, though. I've noticed. That's the big problem we're going to have. I think that, or it's giving us a penalty to... Yeah, it's saying that... Okay. I don't know. I saw that before, but then something else... It mentioned about robotic skill. Missing arm penalty. I guess we have a negative in robotics. We have 1/3 the strength from having a missing arm. Ooh, what is that? Hope that's not a wild wolf. That is a wild wolf. Okay, so let's run back. We might not be able to fight a wild wolf in this predicament. Let's actually run to this town here. Might be safer off that way. Might be still following us. Ooh! Oh, there's combat going on over there. You can see who. You know what, I'll run this way. I don't think he'll get me. I think we're just a little bit faster than the average wolf. I think the average wolf is like around 14. And there's a lot of water nearby, and we practice more with water. Oh, okay. Whoever lost, the river raptors came out on top. Bone dog. Okay, so let's take this. Our stalking bone dog was the one who came out the loser of that. Thank you, River Raptors. Thank you, despite all that I've apparently done to you. And we're not probably going to let you go. I hate to say it, but we need combat experience. Oh boy, we got hit in the back of the stomach. The back of the stomach, if that... I guess that, like, mid-back? The good thing is, by hitting a group, I don't know if I'm actually maybe getting more melee combat skill than otherwise. I don't really know. Oh, good. We got 5 hit on that hit. Come on. Come on, we got 3. I'm going to hit to the middle of the pack. I think we're hitting a little bit too hot. No, we tried to hit central and we ended up hitting just in a line. Whoop, hold on. That guy was eager to fight us. In any other world, this might be animal cruelty. In this world, it's hunting with a very ineffectual tool. Actually, fun fact with hunting. I researched this because I played a video game, believe it or not, about hunting, and there was it was a hunting video game back a few years back. I think a year back or a few years back. And I was curious why there was different, like how could you like make it kind of a score attack kind of situation. And I was like, okay, it's probably based off of kind of like how well the how well you don't absolutely batter it up with multiple shots or stuff like that. You know, kind of like Hitman in the case of where it's just not screwing up. But in fact, it's actually partly based off of the whole idea of getting it without pain, because there's apparently like a shot like with I forgot the technical term for it, but it's like a shot through both lungs for deer that kind of knock them out cold. I don't know if it's like both lungs and the heart or just both lungs, but it like knocks them out and taking them out virtually instantly. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it was a better, if you had to score a hunting game, to me, that's a nicer way to score it, because at least then you're arguing, you're incentivizing that there's a value in being humane to some degree. I mean, I'm sure the animal would prefer you not shooting it at all, but that's, I guess, not really the point, is it? Kind of like back when I did, like when I was a kid, we went up to North Carolina to fish, and pretty much all of that was catch and release. But the only thing is that I imagine that those fish were like sitting there like they're sitting there like, oh, like they've come again to take us out, to hook us in, and you know what I mean, like having nightmares or something, because like every day they're getting taken up out of the water, near asphyxiated, and then like returned, and then like after being stabbed. So I don't know. But that's I'm not knocking anything in regarding to that. I'm in one of those situations. I'm one in one of those situations of where I don't. I don't think I should be going around telling anybody what they should or shouldn't do. But it's fun to play in the hypothetical. And sorry, fish aren't very fish. I totally see the angle with like mammals and stuff like that, or other animals like that. I've always had a hard time with like I've never been very sympathetic toward fish and insects. I've never been very sympathetic toward them, and I don't know if that's something with me or I know most people probably aren't really big fans of insects, but I've never had an easy time sympathizing with them because it's oftentimes like, but don't get like so oftentimes the problem with insects, I think, is a lot of times all of our experiences with them are so negative that's it's no wonder a lot that we have that kind of ingrained into a lot of us. Why arachnophobia is such a common fear and things like that is just because insects throughout history have been not our best friends as a species. With the exception of bees have kind of been kind of cool, but nobody wants to get stung. So, and some people are allergic to them. So again, I always have a hard time being sympathetic to the can't heal ourselves in water. Being sympathetic to insects. That's why I guess you don't see Disney movies of where they're having instead of Bambi having we call it family member shot, it's a cockroach or something like that going, my brother was squashed. I've got to come back for vengeance or something like that. You don't see anything like that. And even if you did, it'd be like a comedy. You really couldn't take it seriously. You gotta feel bad, I guess, a little bit for insects. In that regard. But, I guarantee you, it's one of those situations of where you're like, oh man, I kind of feel bad about that. When you think about it hypothetically, see an insect and then it immediately gets crushed. It's one of those situations of where it's like in a hypothetical world, everyone's like, yeah, I feel kind of bad. I'll save the next insect I see. And in reality, the first thing people go and grab for is like a shoe or something like that. And I'm with you guys. I can get that. So next time you're watching a movie like with like a Frankenstein monster-esque thing, and you're like, no man, we'd all be nice to the monster. Very likely not. Just saying. Very likely not. Like, I always found it funny. Like if you ever seen the Phantom of the Opera with the Gerard Butler version, Gerard Butler's like slightly burned in that one. Like he's like his face is like it's like the mask. Like when he takes off the mask, he's like ever so slightly injured, and he's acting like society's shunning him. And it's like the reason why I feel like that's the case is because if they actually made him look really bad off, they'd actually have a harder time making people watch the movie, because as a sad state of thing, people really are kind of judgmental in that regard. And it's not hating on people in that regard, but don't unlike these river raptors where I have no sympathy because they're pretty much a testing dummy for me here. And in Kenshi, you're killing people already, so like you're not really feeling bad when you're attacking river raptors. It's like playing Hitman and then being like nice to the like it's like playing Hitman and then being nice to like the nice to half the cast or something like that. It's just kind of funny because it's like you're playing a guy who's killing people, like outright like murdering them. It's kind of weird that you're playing like Mr. Nice. I mean, I guess I always find that funny in like even like in Robin Hood. Even like with Robin Hood, it's like probably wouldn't have been a nice guy. He probably just wouldn't have been. I mean, think about how messed up it would be to basically go around, instead of going, yeah, I kind of screwed up by taking from a bunch of people. That was kind of wrong. Instead going, you know what? They deserved it. And all that money that disappeared, I totally didn't take it all myself. And I totally gave it to people. 100% on my honor, right? I totally believe that. there was a thing called like robber barons. Now, a lot of people know about robber barons when they were used in in comparison to like famous like we call it business owners, right? But that's not really where the term originated from. The term originated from basically like knights and lords of like local areas and feudal areas. They basically took their own tax in addition to the national tax, basically whatever the king or whoever they were taking. So they get called robber barons because they were basically getting, they were getting money that was supposedly not really their money. It was someone else's money. And who's a strange person coming in to help us? Oh, it's we're caught. It's a holy servant that got lost apparently. Oh nope, and a high pound coming in. I guess they're coming in to help us since we're helping them get rid of the things that eat their crops. But that's why, like, in like conservation. But that's why, like, we're back regarding to the sympathy thing. That's why, like, you'll see on all the conservation stuff, they'll put pandas and stuff like that, because nobody wants to know about the like a killer arachnid that's endangered that's getting saved. Nobody wants to know about that. Panda, 100%. You know what I mean? Don't want to know. But it's kind of sad because it kind of bleeds over into whenever we're trying to depict something monstrous, we don't, or monstrous or hurt. Like monstrous or hurt, right? Monstrous in the case of like, again, like killer arachnids or something like that. Or hurt in the case of like Phantom of the Opera, where he's kind of hurt, or he's got a medical a medical condition basically. I don't know if that would medical scarring, or I don't know how you really classify whatever the Phantom of the Opera movie he has. In the book, he's kind of more psycho. In the movie, he's more played up. In the plays and the movies, he's more sympathetic. But you notice they don't really play him up as being kind of as really maimed as you would think that the characters are reacting to. And the sad thing is that doesn't really help people who actually do have injuries, because then people who actually have injuries are like, well, if that scene is hideous, now me sitting over there with something way worse is like, oh crap. Now everyone thought that was bad. Now I must be terrible. I don't know. I don't feel like sugarcoating certain things helps people who have worse issues, because then when like everyone's expecting, it's not going to be that bad, then their reaction is, oh, well, that's even worse than that. You know what I mean? So to me, I think if I did my version of the Phantom of the Opera, that guy'd be messed up. Like he'd be real injured. He would not be like, I'm slightly one part of my face is slightly hurt. Because I think that would help kind of convey a better message there. Because if you're going around in like in movies and stuff or video games and be like, yeah, everyone judges me because I lost a finger, the guy who's lost a leg is going to be sitting over there like, man, if they're judging him for missing a finger, then they must hate me, even if they might not. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes you can end up making people feel more self-conscious by downplaying it and having people get treated bad in media with less injuries than I think anything else. But then you get the opposite. Then you get people who that want to play things up. So I don't know. I feel like, to me, if something's gonna be bad, you make it bad. If you're gonna make it bad, make it overly bad rather than less bad. Because if you make it overly bad, at least if someone's gonna get helped, it's gonna be the person with the injury. Because at least then something might come up in which, to me, I'd rather I don't know. To me, I'd rather in that case. But that's me personally. I know that in some cases you can get to a point to where that's not the case. But for me personally, I'd rather I'd rather play up something as worse than play it up as less bad, because you might end up getting yourself. It's kind of like playing it safe, you know. I'd rather not make someone think, not put someone in a weird situation when someone thinks it's not as bad as it really is, versus someone playing it up as being. I'd rather deal with someone thinking it's horrible and it turning out to be not so bad. But I think that's an optimist pessimist thing. Whoop. He's alive, despite me looting him. What's going on? He's alive. Oh, there we go. He's not alive anymore, or he's unconscious now. But oh no, I've skinned him alive. No, he's been skinned alive. I feel terrible. Let's take this just to kill him. There we go. Toss that on the floor. That's a horrible thought. But I imagine that, you know, people who work probably in conservation things probably do the probably. I might be wrong. If someone out there works in conservation stuff, you probably go through that a lot with probably kind of that people always want to help if they're shown a picture of something like a cute little dog or something like that, but not so much if you're showing them like a killer scorpion. And as helpless as river raptors may look, they're a blight here. That's just me overreacting, but just making a joke. But they do have some of that weird stuff on the back. I don't know what that's supposed to be. There we go. But I imagine that that's for anything. It's better to make. I think that you're always safer. To me, you're always safer expecting to have to. What do you call it? To me, it's safer if you have to. If you expect something is worse than it is. Injury wise, like by worse is like expect someone's gonna need more accommodation, and then if they don't, you know what I mean, you know, they're not in any trouble. But that's just me, and that's whoop, it was making some weird noise. To me, I think that it's always better to something's going weird with the inventory system. Doesn't like me doing something. So for everyone out there, that would be my advice. From the advice of someone who's totally unofficial on these matters. So don't take it, take it with a grain of salt. Probably ask whoever you're trying to help.